All praise to the Most High Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the earthly mother, sanctifying Yahweh Shai, the Holy Son. Brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, honor and respect. So welcome to this part. I believe that's the fourth part, when the king asks the queen to show her stuff to the man and things like that. So let's begin. Today is still the same day. You can see the date and the time right here. Let's begin. But Queen Amity refused to come at the king's comment by his 7 chamberlains and remained clothed with King Nebuchadnezzar was then disheartened. The military leaders, wise magicians, sorcerers, and astrologers then spoke loudly of their disappointment. So now they sent the queen, for the queen Amity, which is known as Vashti in the Bible. So they asked the queen, the 7 other women, they already had sex with them and have them dancing and all that nonsense. And they sent for the queen, so the queen have to come there to, dance with them and then show their womanness and then do all the orgies. So the queen didn't want to do this. Okay? So there you go right there. Okay, Esther 11:12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's coming by his chamberlains, the 7th. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for there was the king's manner towards all new law and judgment, because the law and judgment, the law said you cannot refuse the king's order. If you're the king's wife, the king told you to have sex with all those dudes, show all the dudes your boobs and your womanness, you will do it. If you refuse, death. All right? Let's move. Esther 1:14. And the next unto him was Kashina, Shetar, Amdata, Tanishish, Meres, Marsina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face and resat the first of the kingdom. 15. Those are the magician and stuff they were talking about in the book of Nebuchadnezzar. So, and then the king Nebuchadnezzar was then disheartened. He was angry. So the military leaders, the wise magicians, the sorcerers, and astrologers then spoke loudly of disappointment. So those dudes, they want to see the king liquid and stuff. Those guys, and they were like talking and they say, what shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlain. So they just switched the names. All right. So now the guy's like, yo, what the hell? She get killed. She didn't want to perform and show us her, so what's up? What should we do to her? We all know the law here. We all know the law. And Memucan answered before the king of the prince Vashti, the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. So Memucan, man, this dude Memucan, man, you see who this dude really are in the book of Nebuchadnezzar, man. So I laughed so hard when I read about Memucan, man. So Memucan was like, yo, not only Vashti done to the king, not only Vashti did wrong to the king only, she also did wrong to all of us and the people of all provinces. Why? Because when the people hear this, their wives going to rebel against their husbands. When the husband asks the wife to do something, they're going to rebel because they say, well, Vashti did it. Why can't we? Okay, so let's read it in the book of Nebuchadnezzar. All right. King Nebuchadnezzar then said to his military leaders, magician, all those dudes, and perhaps it is good that Queen, this is all lies. Perhaps it is good that Queen Amity did not show herself to my kingdom, for jealousy surely will have come upon all men, and they would be jealous of me and plot against me and plot to my queens be defiled and did blah 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 blah. So when you read this, you see the translation are just proper. That means the priest of mine tempered it. Okay, so and People, I'm sorry. In the Bible, Memucan, in the Bible, this dude is known as Memucan. In the book of Nebuchadnezzar, this dude known as Rezier. And Rezier, one of King Nebuchadnezzar's magicians, stood before King Nebuchadnezzar. All right, Memucan, leaning on others who propped him up, for Rezier was a weak magician who was regularly propped up by other magicians. Rezier's gray hair hung before him and rested upon his plump, soft body, which was soft as under the belly of a rat. For Rezier was frog-like in his appearance, with large, weak eyes, pompous, always pulling his gray beard. And even though Rezier was one of the king of Nebuchadnezzar's magician, many of Nineveh had said under the breath, I would like to hit that half-blind fool until he weeps. Dude, when I read that, I laughed so hard. Everybody hate this dude, man. Rezier, but in the Bible, his name is Memucan. Okay, so Memucan stand up and say, "Hey, what the hell's going on here, man? You know, what shall we done with the king, the queen, and stuff like that?" So, and Rezier said, "Queen Amity has not done wrong." Oh man, I can't believe I didn't. Oops. Oh, I just highlight this. This thing doesn't want. Here we go. Queen Amity, and Rezier said, Queen Amity has not done wrong before King Nebuchadnezzar, and also before all the military leaders and wise magicians, sorcerers, and astrologers, to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Nebuchadnezzar. And King Nebuchadnezzar mused to Rezier, saying, what's wrong with my beautiful queen done? Okay, so let's read it in the Bible. Okay, and Memucan answered Rezier, before the king and princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but to all the princes, which is the magician and all that crap, and all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, which is the king of Nebuchadnezzar. All right, so man, so and Rezier the magician says, Queen Amity is beautiful both inside and out, and we wish to gaze upon her. Yet she listened not to the king Nebuchadnezzar. Will not the women of the kingdom so despise their husband and not listening to them? Will there not be contempt and wrath because of your queen disobedience? I speak to the unseen realm, and many military leaders, blah, 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 agreed with Rezier. Also, all those guys are like, yeah, show that thing, queen. And they rallied and lustfully groaned to have King Nebuchadnezzar understand that lustful groaning and the drunken military leaders. So those guys were horny, so they want to mess with the queen. So they're like, yo, man, you gotta let that queen show that stuff, because she's breaking the law, So they were so horny that the king Nebuchadnezzar had removed himself from the banquet. So the king went and discussed the matter with the queen. All right. But again, when you read the book of Esther, you'll understand the rest of the chapter. So I'm not gonna go ahead and read it for you, because it's up to you to know what happened. In the book of Esther 1:17, for his deed of the queen shall come around and unto all women, so that they shall despise their husband the eyes, when it shall be reported the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought into before him, but she came not. All right. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto, they keep changing the name, king princes, which has heard of the deed of the queen shall thus arise too much contempt and wrath. So you kind of like have read it, because this is the story of Esther. This is the story of Esther, and then this is the true story. So the rest of this is just garbage. It's just like they trying to make the king. The fate, Rezier actually got killed. The fate of Rezier, the magician, he actually got killed, Oops. I have not what evil, I have not. So, you gotta read this. Let me see. Yeah, I was laughing when I read this. All right, let's read that. So that's King Nebuchadnezzar talking. The king said, I have not wrought evil. I have not made violence to be the first consideration of this problem. I have not defrauded a humble man of his property. What I do is not an abomination to murder, but I will commit murder. I give myself the order for murder to be committed. I will cause my sword to fall upon these military leaders, those guys, the horny guys that wanted to see the queen. For they have insulted my queen, Amity, and the women of the royal house, the chamberlain, the prostitute. And it was spoken that they have plundered the offering in the temple, and it's spoken that they have defrauded the gods of the offering. It is even spoken that these fornicators have masturbated within the sanctuary of Marduk in the city of Nineveh. So he killed them. He just chopped them to death. And 400 military wise men, sorcerer, all those horny is slain by King Nebuchadnezzar on that day. Can you imagine a woman having sex with 400 men? Can you imagine that? And they used to do these things, man. So the 7 chamberlain have sex with all of them. So, you really have to look at this, and because they really hate the Israelites in this book, man. You see how they refer to our people as eunuchs and foul-mouthed eunuchs, and they refer to them as all kind of names. So read the book of Esther, the whole book of Esther, because what happened, and in the book of Esther, Queen, and then this, when Memucan, let's see the whole chapter, 21. Oh, that's chapter 22. So they took them after this thing, when the wife of the king was appeased. He remembered Vashti and shared to her done, and was decree against her. Then the king said to the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgin sought for the king. So the king, he kind of like the queen Vashti. And then he chose Esther and the whole story and stuff like that. Then Esther become Vashti. Esther become what was the name of this woman again? Amity. So the first Amity, they kill her, and then Esther become Amity. And you see, when you read the book, I highly the queen's knowledge of murder. So all of a sudden, when they didn't say it here, but all of a sudden, for Queen Amity's desire to show both King Nebuchadnezzar and Marduk that she was a workman approved, studying to divide the words of the truth, which is strictly according to Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the work of truth. Precept 2 Peter 1:10. Wherefore, the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election, for sure, if you do this thing, you shall never fall. All right? So, for Queen Amity's desire to show both King Nebuchadnezzar and Marduk that she was a workman approved, studying to divide the work of truth. So, that's Esther right here. Okay? The other queen got killed. The priests of Mahan didn't say this. They make it look like it's the same queen. They make it look like it's the same queen, but when you look at it, it's like, well, there's no way that queen would be that smart. And then she was like, they romanticize the whole thing. All right, my queen, I have been searching for you. You have displayed your knowledge to all. They marvel will not come back to the palace. Let me see what note I have here. She was studying our books. Okay, that the queen, whether you want to call it Esther or Amity, she spent like 3 days inside of the temple studying books. All right. So after that, it's all the sacking of Jerusalem. Okay, that's the book of Daniel right there. The sacking of Jerusalem. All right, that's the book of Daniel. All right. Let me see one time. Okay, that's the book of Daniel. Now, you really, people, then again, when you read this book, it depends on you. It depends on what you wanna let's pull a picture. Vashti. They keep changing the name. Vashti. Alright, Queen Vashti. Man, it's white as snow. Okay, Queen Vashti. There we go. That's better. Okay, Queen Vashti, which is Esther. Um, you see, Queen Vashti, Esther. They know that. They know Vashti was Esther because Vashti or Amity is just a title, just like the name of the book is. Let me say this. The name of the book is the Nebuchadnezzar 2 tablets. That means there was a Nebuchadnezzar before that. Just like King Abimelech. Abimelech just means the great king. There was Abimelech of Abraham, Abimelech of Isaac, and Abimelech of Jacob. Okay, just like Pharaoh, Ramses, and all that. It's a title. So the Queen Amity's favor. When you read the rest of the book, it is Esther. The priest of Mahan tamper with it, but they cannot show you the thing. But if you read the whole book, you're like, wait, this is Esther. All right. And then they were quoting the Bible. Therefore shall my plagues from this day, death, mourning, and famine shall be her drink, and Jerusalem shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is murder with judges her. So this is come straight out of Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. But they say death and famine shall be her drink, and Jerusalem shall be utterly burned with fire, and strong is murder who judges her. So they were taking things out of a book, and man, those guys. But it's very important, when you have to read this. So we will pick up on the book of Daniel, where they will name Daniel and all that stuff. So I will never show mercy to the servant of God's other than murder, for it if I rebel against the things which I burn to the ground, I make myself a transgressor. This is straight from the book of Leviticus and Exodus and Deuteronomy. Okay, so the people, the Israelites, were commanded. So when they go to the other people to destroy the altar, destroy their gods, destroy their temple, but do not rebuild them back, because if you do this, you transgress you transgress the law of God. You transgress God itself. So that's why all those things were happening. That's why they say this here. Okay, so when you look at Vashti, which is Esther, I don't even think they have Amitis. I never Amitis. Okay, they have Amitis right here. Queen Amitis. Oh, the Earth 16. See, this is what I keep telling our people. You see, Amitis, Earth 16, Earth 616. So let's see. Marvel. They have that even before the book of Nebuchadnezzar came out. Let's see history. Amitis was Narim Bey had blooded paramour whom Conan. Is that Marvel? Whom Conan greeted before leaving the capital of one thing. When the Cimmerian returned to the city, she offered him the luxury of her palace, and will marry him, begging for a fortnight, engaging him in a romantic affair. Okay, after the party held in his honor for rescuing the princess Yolinda, Amitis visited the haunted Cimmerian and told him that Lily too, a werewoman, had marked Conan as her own. And this is, people, this story right here straight from the Nebuchadnezzar's tablet. It's straight from there, because Nebuchadnezzar turned into a Gontiqua, a werewolf, for 7 years. This is straight from the story, which shows you those people have our books, all those like Marvel, DC's, all those comic books. They actually story that happened. A lot of them. Okay, you see this one here? Conan as her own was behind the supernatural not attack. The only one who could lift the curse was the high priest Gimil-Shibi, who was dwelling in the Mount of the Moon, west of the city. As Conan left the Mount of the Moon, she revealed her master that she rather see Conan dead than risk his living. So, they had Lady Amitis. They have the story, like I told you, the Vatican, you see, things like that. Musée du Louvre, that's King Babylon, King Amity, and on the book and is right here. The Vatican, they took like guys like the priest of Mahan, so to speak. They took like guys like Jack Kirby. Okay, they got guys like Jack Kirby who created the new gods, people. If you read the story of the new gods, and guess what? The new gods, let's see, Jack Kirby, the new gods. When you read, okay, so this is Dark Side, High Father, Orion, all those gods. When you read it, okay, new gods are a fictional race appearing in the Populous comic book series published by DC Comics as well. Let's go in a little. Alright. Whoops. In 1971. Okay, there's something. The new gods are native twin planet generation of New Genesis, pretty self-explanatory story, and Apocalypse. Okay, the beginning of the book and the end of the book. Apocalypse is Revelation. Okay, the twin planet, New Genesis and Apocalypse. New Genesis is an idyllic planet filled with unspoiled forest, mountain, and river, and is ruled by benevolent High Father. You know, that's like all in. And while Apocalypse is nightmarish, polluted, and stuff. 1970. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. The New Gods first appearance in New Gods #1, February March 1971, and Forever People, February 1st March 1971. Another fourth world, because the whole New God things, they take place in the fourth world. Okay, that mean like here in our homeland. Okay, here in the fourth part, the story take place here, so to speak, in the fourth part. So the third part is like, oh, where all the Superman and all that whatever happened, the other stories. But the fourth part is where the new gods at. They got guys like this, like Jack Kirby and Stanley. They got like guys like Jack Kirby. They let them see some of the books and tell the story as like, oh, this is comic book. We come up with this. You know, no, you did not. You did not come up with these stories. Okay. All right. So just to let you know, all right, we'll jump on the next story. I think lesson 5, which is going to be about Daniel. Man, they did the brother wrong in this book, man. All right, I'll see you guys in lesson 5.